Hey everybody, welcome to insert episode title number here of the Campfire Cast that we've developed, formulated. I've done research to acquire this name, patent pending. I did a lot of investigative journalism to get this.
Lots of furious Googling at 2 in the morning.
Yeah, furious Googling That's what I was doing at 2 in the morning, baby. I was furiously Googling.
Yeah, that's what we're calling it now?
So no, I have work to do when it gets fast. You know you have to stay in your room when I'm working out here. So instead of doing a Are You Afraid of the Dark episode that we would normally do, or is going to be partially what we're normally going to do, we're also doing just about anything, honestly.
And
that relates to spooky,
skeletons,
scary.
Shivers down your spine.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So we're going to be doing creepypastas today.
Yeah.
If you don't know what that is, well, look it up. So,
ravioli.
You stupid idiot, look it up.
No.
No. It's a pasta, which is like a copied story or paste over and over again. That's the pasta, and then creepy is the flavor.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any other.
So.
Are there any other pastas?
Copy pastas.
No. Yeah.
Copy, creepy.
Yeah, like the what is it?
The Navy SEAL one.
The Navy SEAL one. Listen, you motherfucker! I'm a decorated Navy SEAL. I could be anywhere in the world in 30. I was listening to a voice modulator do different voices do that, so it had Martin Luther King would do that. Hold on, I'm actually going to play a bit of that real quick.
Oh my god.
Here, you all talk about that.
Yeah, well,
stuff.
you find that. So, like, I feel like the definition of creepypasta, or like creepypastas in general, have just changed.
Yeah.
Like, I remember going on to TV tropes and looking through all the like horror tropes and finding creepypastas through there that related to like video games and shit like that. That's how I found about the SCP Foundation.
SCP Foundation, which is almost like just a collection of specific of just creepypastas, I think.
Sub creepypasta. It's like an entire
I feel like
fabricated organization.
Just link them together.
Yeah.
I feel like the theory behind SCP itself is the creepypasta, and then it just has the miniature stories of every single one.
Yeah, so it has that. Okay.
I feel like
What the fuck did you just fucking say about me, you little bitch? I'll have you know I graduated top of my class in the Navy SEALs.
Oh my
and I've been involved in numerous secret raids on Al-Qaeda, and I've over 3.
Could you imagine if they saw the Martin Luther King's assassin and he was like, "Listen here, you little bitch."
Oh my god.
Speaking of which, he was assassinated by, I believe, the CIA or NSA, I think.
Oh, I thought it was the FBI.
Oh, one of them.
It was the government either way.
Anyway, this is episode 1 of the Conspiracy Cast.
Conspiracy cast. But no, I feel like the definition of what makes a creepypasta has changed because, like, I remember the classics like Slender Man, Jack the Killer, the one with the weird smile,
Jack the Smiler,
Ben Drowned, like all those. And now I just kind of feel it's like we're gonna write a somewhat spooky thing about Fortnite kind of thing.
I mean, that's the natural evolution. You say it's how it was classically, but Ben Drowned is a video game one.
Yes, but it more relies on nostalgia rather than what's popular in the now.
Well, I mean, how long for Fortnite's been out for a while?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
If
Like,
someone's been alive in such a short amount of time that Fortnite is nostalgic for them, I need to meet this person
Well, I mean,
who's probably 3 years old.
just go outside. It's probably like, so anyway, that's type of thing. What's the other one? Sonic EXE?
I do remember those. Oh shit, you just reminded me of a really good one. Do you remember the theater one? It was like some game this guy found. It was a theater and like you would go, you never got to see the movie, it would like glitch out. They turned it into an RPG Maker game, and I remember, I think Markiplier or Jacksepticeye, one of those people playing it.
They're like the same person.
Yeah, basically. Anyways, I like that one. I will have to look up that one and share it.
I never got into like the traditional creepypastas. I did like all my shit started on Reddit's No Sleep.
Yeah.
And back then it was actually good. And there'd be like little hints of creepypasta here and there. That's how I found out about it.
Is Reddit's No Sleep still going on?
Yeah.
I don't use Reddit, but I am aware of r/glitch in the Matrix,
Yo, I've had me one of them.
r/, PogChamp, Pogs, you know what I mean?
You're so much.
Things like that.
Like, wait now, should we share like our own like a real scary experience from like our own?
We'll save that. We'll save that near the end. Let's build up. I think we all have at least one spooky experience, right? As a black man living in America.
Well, yeah.
Shit.
Some of those, perhaps.
Anyway, and creepypastas, which I think are just the evolution from kind of like an urban legend, right?
Yeah.
Just modern day urban legends.
Yeah.
Because now they can be just about anything. The haunted cartridge, the missing SpongeBob episode,
Yeah.
Squidward's suicide,
That's so funny.
and the Candle Cove one, which is isn't it just that someone's memory of a show or something like that?
Yeah, that one really interested me because, like, I remember watching tons of shows when I was a kid that, like, I have no idea what they were called. I don't know what they were, and I sure as hell
Yeah.
don't think my mom knew what they were.
Is there a Reddit for helping you remember things?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I actually follow it, and they'll post like.
The irony that you can't remember that.
I can't remember. I gotta.
You should start a Reddit for that.
What was this subreddit? Nah, you posted. They got one for like everything. They got one for games, movies, books.
Yeah. So there's some stuff I'm like, what were those books called? And I have it in my head, and I have a lot of details, but I can't remember the name.
Same boat.
Subreddit.
Yeah. Anyway, I just tangented us off of
Creepypastas.
creepypastas from urban legends. So I have, where's my list here of some classic urban legends. But first, let's hear about your favorite creepypasta.
Okay. So, like,
Hey everybody, hold on. This is our co-host. I am Sean Spookington.
oh yeah, we literally forgot that.
And then this is
I'm Olivia. Ooh, spooky.
Ooh, Olivia. It's pretty good.
Ooh, Olivia.
And then, are you saying Boo Olivia or Boo Earns? I was saying Boo Earns. So that marks our first Simpsons reference. Get ready for a lot of those.
Yeah.
And then our final host / co-host.
I'm Kenny. No sub-name or anything. I live a life of hell already. So, my life is the spook, I suppose.
Yeah. Much like Prince or Oprah, Kenny just goes by Kenny.
Kenny. No other name needed.
No other name. That's how we summoned him. Put a salt circle around the mic, and we dropped a drool pod in the middle. And we were able to get Kane to existence. Okay, sorry. We had to introduce ourselves.
Yeah.
30 minutes in.
I mean, it's only been like 10. Anyways.
Okay.
What did you ask me?
Your creepypasta that you enjoy the most.
So, there's a lot of them, but I do find myself going back to the classics a lot. I feel like along with that theater one, Autopilot is right up there with like real life spooks. And then the Russian sleep experiment is, I don't think you've ever heard of that one before, have you?
No, you should probably tell us about these.
Well, I was just making sure I wasn't going to bore you. So, Russian sleep experiment, essentially, Russia locked 3 of these convicts in a room and pump gas in there that makes them stay awake all day. And then some crazy stuff starts to happen. They start going crazy, screaming, killing each other, or like trying to kill each other, trying to kill themselves. And eventually, finally, they like close the experiment down and they take the guys to the hospital and try to force them into sleep, and then they all die as soon as they fall asleep. And the last one, I actually think they made a movie about this, now that I think about it.
I think that,
I don't think it was good.
No, it wasn't good. But I think, was it on that or was it on the No, I definitely saw a trailer for something like
Yeah.
this, but I'm also thinking of the Flatliners remake.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they did make a movie in 2015.
Yeah.
It's
I
all
imagine
adding
it
up.
probably wasn't good. What was it called?
The Russian Sleep Experiment.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
so
just straight
funny.
up.
Wow.
Wow.
It's a short though. It's a 29-minute.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I seem to remember like a feature-length movie, but maybe it was like that and something else. But anyway, long story short, they take the guys to the hospital. Once they start injecting them with like anesthetics and stuff to make them fall asleep, they start dying. And the last dude is like, "We are the void," or like something like speaking in multiple voices, really scary stuff. I find myself gravitating towards like the creepypastas that I feel could have some like real-world tangibleness. Like the Russian sleep experiment, I feel like is very tangible because there's literally a thing. I'm gonna have to find the name of it here in a second. Where like it's a genetic thing. Something happens in your brain. You lose the ability to sleep, and eventually it kills you. And yet somehow science still doesn't know how and or why sleep is important. We just know that it is. That it helps fix your brain. We don't know why, it just does.
I think you just need to be unconscious for a little bit. Otherwise, you're constantly absorbing information. It's probably
I feel like it's akin to like restarting your computer after
yeah. I mean, you gotta
doing
turn it
a
on
bunch of
eventually.
shit.
It's the same thing with yawns. They haven't figured out why you yawn either.
Yeah.
I mean, it's akin to being tired, but there's no big reason why you go.
Oh shit.
So-
I don't know why I want to like investigate all this shit now.
You can just sign up for this experiment from Russia.
Yeah.
I won't. No.
Okay, well, insomnia is a sleep disorder. Like, I didn't know that. I was just kind of looking for the actual name of this thing that keeps you from sleeping until you die. Let's try that, Google.
Insomnia.
That's good.
Oh, fatal familial insomnia. So it is a genetic condition, and just eventually it just kills you. You're dead.
Just go to sleep, nerds.
Yeah, but it literally, I don't know how it does it, but it destroys their ability to fall asleep. It mainly affects the thalamus, and it's the part of the brain that controls the sleep-wake cycle. It's a progressive neurodegenerative disease, which means over time there are fewer neurons. Loss of neurons in the thalamus, as well as other mechanisms, are not yet fully understood, but they do cause symptoms of fatal familial insomnia.
Ah.
So essentially, your brain stops sending signals correctly, and it stops you from sleeping, and then that fucks up your brain more, and then you just die.
That just reminds me of any sort of autoimmune disorder one. There's one where your muscles like turn to bone.
Yeah.
I think I saw an X-Files on that.
Yeah.
That shit there.
Yeah, so it's like a semi-body horror type of thing. They can this one's more in line.
Yeah.
All kinds of shit out there.
Which, if y'all are ever like really wanting to watch some body horror stuff, there's like a short faux documentary called Metallosis Maligna, where it's like in this world, if you get a metal implant, it can sometimes like take over your body, and it's real fucked up. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Do you die at the end of this?
I
Or do
think
you
so.
come outside
I think so, because there's like one where they show this dude who's like half his whole body, like face, stomach, and all that is all just like random bits of metal. And it's like he breathes at one point, and it sounds like someone like jangling spoons together. It's real fucked.
That's pretty cool.
It's really cool.
There's another documentary, I think it was called something like The Human Centipede, that
I watched that first movie when I was like 14 or 15, and it has never left my memory.
no, that's one that, and it's pointless too.
Yeah.
There's nothing of value.
Yeah, no.
Just watch Raw. You want to see a body horror
I
one?
need to watch Raw too.
It's intense.
It's intense. It's intense and weird.
A little cannibalism here and there.
Well, just a little bit.
It's very weird.
What's your pick for creepypasta of the year, Kenny?
Of the year?
Of the year?
The year 2005, maybe. Actually, no, I didn't. I'm not sure the year it was, but it's called the Dianea House.
The Dianea House?
Dianea, yeah.
I think it's saying it right, yeah?
What was it, like D-I-O?
And
Yeah, no, I already fucked it up. Never
Yeah.
mind. It starts with a D. You can look it up. I don't
yeah,
know.
just Google it.
But it's a really long and intricate creepypasta. It wasn't I think it's in the form of a website. So, and it starts with the correspondence between friends, and it kind of leads off, and you have to explore and figure out what's going on. But the central premise is a house that can be anywhere, anytime, and there's a group of friends that are investigating it, and the house is like its own entity, sentient entity that consumes you, or it'll consume your, I want to say your soul. It kind of hollows you out and makes you do the work for them. So anybody who lives in the house either dies or becomes like an agent of the house, so to speak.
That reminds me, have you ever read or seen a little book called, well, it's not little actually, it's quite big, called House of Leaves?
Yeah, that was my next sentence there. I bought it after I read this.
Shut the fuck up.
Here, jeez.
Yeah, like after the first time I read this, and then I started looking into it, and I bought House of Leaves. It's like a fucking textbook.
It is an awesome adventure. Story is, I think, admittedly, like maybe a 3.5 out of 5. It's not, it's pretty mediocre, but
It's the experience.
yeah. So House of Leaves is a book by, and then he's a pretty good writer. We'll have to edit that in.
I'm editing this. I'm gonna leave all of it in.
Yeah, so when you open it, the book, each page is like an adventure. Some of the pages has words that swirl from the outer and go into the inner. Some pages are blank. Some pages have artwork, a comic book. Some pages have single letters. Some pages
notes here. And
are upside down. Some of them are written backwards, so you need a mirror to read them.
Fun.
It is really fun. I think it's about a journalist.
It's written by Mark Z. Danielewski.
That Bertano Nanolewski, the guy that plays Carl from.
Now, so this was 2000. I wonder if the guy who came up with Diane House actually got his inspiration from House of Leaves.
Possibly. It takes a while to write that book. I remember hearing about the book on the radio when I was like going to school. We listened to whatever the morning radio was, and they were like, and we have our guest who just read this crazy book. And then I remember seeing it at a bookstore, and I was like, this is really cool. I did buy it. I read about a quarter of it, and then I just stopped reading.
Oh, I got
in
14 pages in.
14 pages in, yeah.
I was like,
The audiobooks are supposed to be amazing.
I mean, you know what? It would be amazing though if they like gave you audio descriptions of the pages, and like it was okay. Here's how you read that audiobook. You don't read the book as the book. You read the book as someone who is writing their experience of reading the book. Like,
about that.
like if you're what was the kid's name? Gravity Falls. Dipper Pines. Like when you buy the journals that they sold in stores, you're not just reading the journals, you're reading what Dipper wrote about the journals too.
That's kind of what you're reading in House of Leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying if you were doing it as an audiobook.
I don't think it'll work.
I don't think that would work. Yeah, you need to see this book.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I do. I've literally known zero about it.
It might. I'm gonna take a look and see if we have it tomorrow at the store. But
because when I was looking it up, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll get the audio version, and then you see all the reviews saying, you want the book, you have it.
Yeah,
because it's like you were saying, it's an adventure.
It's a unique experience. If only the story was a little bit better. But anyway, the guy gets trapped in a house, and the house changes and evolves each time, and it takes into memories of, I think he's like a war photographer or something like that.
Yeah.
It is pretty cool. Look up House of Leaves. We're not sponsored by them, but we are sponsored by audio.com.
Yeah, no, just audio.
Just audio.
If you hear us out,
if you hear it,
sponsor
that's us. So enjoy that. Enjoy audio. Use it more often.
Last week we were sponsored by Liquid.
Oh,
Stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated. Yeah, we're still sponsored by Liquid. Here you go.
So Diane House, the actual creepypasta of Diane House actually plays out like the adventure in the House of Leaves. So it's a nice little fun one that takes you through a website to some teenager's live journal, and you read her account, and then through somebody's personal blogspot post.
That's
and
pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. It seems so real. Having those kind of platforms in there, like of these people telling it seems so real. So you're reading through, like, holy shit!
It adds
it's pretty cool.
It's like it adds a found footage element to it. Which is like a great concept that's often done poorly, but is still kind of fun even when it's done poorly. Found footage being you always see it from the perspective of the person who's recording.
Yeah.
Usually there's a lot of questions of how the footage was found, which doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's like, did the monster or did the entity edit the footage? So there's a lot of weird stuff. But found footage is pretty fun. We're also sponsored by Found Footage.
Yes.
Found footage.
If you find something in the woods, watch it.
Probably don't. Probably give that to the police.
Speaking of found footage, this is kind of creepypasta-like. Lake Mungo.
Oh,
Oh, that movie was so good.
If you need a reason to get into found footage, I think your biggest hits are Paranormal Activity 1.
Yeah.
Is an easy entry. It's a bit
Stop at the
slow.
first one.
It's not super horror-y, but it's intense.
Yeah.
Lake Mungo is probably your best bet.
Yeah.
Do not look up a synopsis.
No.
You just have to watch it.
You just have to watch it. Just put it on. But it follows the story of a daughter has gone missing from a family, and they're talking about how she got missing, and then you start to find pieces of her life throughout the movie, and that's about all I'll say on that.
So it starts as she went missing, and then there's more to it than that in like the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, it is a fast-paced movie.
It's very good.
It's probably one of the best found footage movies.
You know what I think that I actually do like? Because it sounds like the Dianea house is like creepypasta meets ARG. And I'm so here for that. Like, I love those things.
Interactive creepypastas.
Yeah, interactive creepypasta is pretty good. Remember they did one for BioShock 2.
Yeah.
The worst BioShock game. It's very bad. Don't play it. We're not sponsored by BioShock 2. I hate it.
I only played it because you got to play as a Big Daddy or
You get to
whatever.
play as a Big
but,
Daddy
like,
for a bit
you
longer.
Play as the least powered big. Like, essentially, you have a wrench on your arm and that's it.
Yeah, and I'm not going to go into why it's terrible. I don't have time for that. That's my other podcast.
Yeah. It's all terrible.
It's all terrible with Sean. That's actually really good. But they had a little sort of ARG type of thing too, where you got these signals from the ocean and you had to track the signals down and old recordings, stuff like that. But that's what's fun, is that a creepypasta kind of lives and breathes in the moment.
Yeah.
It's like a different variation of a meme, or the more traditional definition of a meme.
Yeah.
You gather through a story. So, speaking of which, the more traditional versions, I have some creepy. I have not creepypastas. I have some creepy urban legends here. I have 10 of them.
Ooh.
And tell me if you remember any of these.
Yeah.
Or if they're interesting. And audience, you can play too.
Yeah.
Just talk to yourself.
Yeah.
You know what? Just talk. I will hear it.
Yes. We are sponsored by audio, so we hear everything. Jimmy, you should stop that.
Because I'm always listening. I've always been there for you. Anyway.
Wow.
The first one is, this was a surprise. I didn't expect this one to be in here.
All right.
Bloody Mary.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I got a funny story about Bloody Mary.
So Bloody Mary is the myth, I guess, based on, I think, the real person. I forget her name. I'm sure I can find it here. Queen Mary?
Yeah, Queen Mary the First or whatever.
Yeah, so she just loved blood and bathing in it and just killing, and she was just a completely bad person.
Okay, wait a minute. No.
Bathory.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bathory.
Elizabeth Bathory did that,
Queen
and
Mary.
I think at some point she got confused with Mary.
Oh, possibly, yeah. So the gimmick is you go into your bathroom. I think it's got to be your bathroom. Because it's your bathroom mirror.
Yeah.
You turn the lights off, and then and then you say Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary. Lights are flickering, which is odd. Bloody Mary. And then she kills you, or she comes out of the mirror, or I think you see her in the mirror.
So there are different variations that I've heard. One is like she just straight up kills you. One is like she mutilates your face. And then one is like she asks for you to give her baby back. I don't know where all these differentiations came from.
Well, that's how it goes. You know, my sister did it that way. She took the baby. You know, my brother's uncle did it this way, and he's scarred for life now.
I have a very hilarious story about playing Bloody Mary.
All right, let's hear your hilarious story.
So it's my sister's like 13th birthday. All of her friends are over, including the bitchy twins from next door. They were terrible people. So they convinced my sister to play Bloody Mary in the bathroom. My mom was sick of their shit and tired of having this bitchy little girls at her house. So she hid in the bathtub.
That's pretty good.
She hid in the bathtub with the like shower curtain drawn, and they took my sister in there. Or no, this was after because they made my sister cry. So they go in there and they're like, we're gonna do Bloody Mary. So they go in there by themselves, and my mom is hiding in there. And when they say Bloody Mary for the third time, my mom goes, "What do you want?" They ran out of there fucking crying so hard.
That's good. You should have never revealed it.
Yeah.
That could just be a little mystery for them.
They went home after that.
Is Bloody Mary a 3 or a 5? You got it how many times?
3 times.
It's 3.
It's 3 times, I think.
Yeah.
Oh. What's the deal with the mirror killers and you gotta say their name?
Candyman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Candyman, don't say it.
I did, I've never said it. I did the 2 and I was like, I'm not stupid.
Nah, I'm not stupid. I'm testing that.
I don't know. I feel like the mirror myth myth stuff goes back a long way. Because I mean, in paganism, we use mirrors for all kinds of shit.
I mean, mirrors, it's almost like a portal.
Yeah, exactly. Did I ever tell you about that time I came into my room and there was like a handprint on my mirror?
My bad.
You did not. You did not. You rude.
It was me.
Anyway, okay, so that was
the Bloody Mary one,
Bloody Mary.
Which is pretty good. You can still, the fear of something happening is still there for some people.
I like literally, if I go into a dark bathroom, I turn on the lights before I ever look in the mirror.
Did you?
Yeah.
No, my mirror form knows we'd be looking good. So. Oh, speaking of mirrors in the dark, there was a restaurant that I wanted to go to, and I did go to, called Ghost Something's Haunted Plantation. And I was like, holy shit. I saw like a billboard, and it had, catfish, it's like Catfish Plantation's haunted, and on the billboard it had a little ghost. The classic one, like just a little white guy.
What was this? A KKK member?
No, but like it was a sheet ghost. We'll go with the sheet ghost. And it had the holes. So anyway, I'm like, hell yeah, let's go to the haunted plantation. Now everyone knows what a plantation looks like.
Yeah.
It is. You've seen what Pride or whatever one
Pride
of those
and
movies.
Prejudice.
What's the one? Your name is Toby. What's that one?
Oh, Glory.
Glory. Roots.
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 Oh, I literally have never seen that. I don't get that.
So Roots, it's a old plantation, almost congruent with slavery now because of the workers there. But I'm thinking it's gonna be a big ass restaurant. Though you'll probably be able to go on a little walk around the plantation. So I'm looking for it, and it's in downtown historic. I'm not going to give a place.
What state?
This one.
Oh, we should go again sometime. I want to go.
Well, let me get to my story, and then you might change your mind.
Oh, okay.
So on a plantation, I went with one of my friends, and it was like his last day over here, and he's heading back to his house. And I was like, "Oh, let's go on the hunt." He's like, "Oh yeah, it sounds pretty good." So we get there, and we're going through a historic town. I'm not going to tell anybody. You have to get Reddit on this to find out where we are.
Yeah.
So we're going through, and it's just a bunch of old houses, and it's like a pretty big suburban neighborhood, but there's occasionally some old houses because it's downtown, historic downtown.
Yeah.
So we're looking around, and I'm just like, I've been around the block, around this whole area, like maybe 2 loops now. If there's a plantation around here, it's not here. But I buckle down. I'm like, all right, what does the direction say? Let's just follow it to the T. And then we get to it, and the plantation is more of a small building, about the size of like 2 of our apartments here.
Oh, wow.
And I was like,
So that's like maybe 2,000 square.
I was like devastated. Yeah. Well, anyway, we're there and we go inside and they got pictures and the pictures are like, the haunted plantation burned down one time and then we saw ghosts inside while it was burning and the firefighters put it out. So there's like a bunch of pictures, like Polaroids of like firefighters and stuff. Yeah. And I think there's a couple that have like ghost question mark like next to it. So I'm like, all right, well, shit. So we sit down and the tables have that sort of plastic red and white checkered tablecloth, and I'm like, oh my god, this sucks. And their food is all like, you know, southern food. I got the chicken fried steak. I got the extra spicy chicken fried steak.
So it came out moderately spicy.
Actually, it was probably the most haunted item there.
Haunted by the past of spice.
Yeah, because that meal haunted me back to my bathroom.
No.
Yeah, the legend of the blasted out asshole. This shit was way too hot, and I scraped off it too. So there, you know, if there was a ghost, it was in that food. So anyway, I'm like, and it was like 4 or 5 o'clock. You know, sun was coming down. It was getting a little dark, so I'm like, all right, I'm not getting any spooks. This place is almost full capacity. The ghosts are probably too shy. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I go back there. The bathroom looks like the red room from Twin Peaks. It's like, yeah, it's like crimson blood red. And I'm like, all right, we're getting there. It's got a nice big mirror and this regular toilet. And I'm like, all right, well, let me take a little whiz real quick. And then I get there and I'm like, oh shit, I'm running out of time. I haven't been haunted yet. So I've turned the lights off in the bathroom.
Oh my shit.
And I'm washing my hands in the dark. And I'm just like, well, whoops, hit the light switch on accident. You know, I'm like feigning the ghost, like, shit, I guess I'll have to wash in the dark. Yeah. I'm really vulnerable right now. Really go and hit that. This is before coronavirus too, so I was doing like the full 20 seconds of like, just like any second now, the water want to get blazingly hot or cold, or does it want to get like a cold mist behind my shoulder? Nothing happens. And it was the worst experience ever, and I don't know why we started talking about that.
So you're talking about mirrors in the dark.
Oh yeah. So that was my mirror in the dark experiment. I have done Bloody Mary a long time ago when I was like 13. I was like, I did get scared and I did it and I immediately like got out of the room, but nothing happened. It was still pretty good, but it still holds weight, I think. Yeah. And for people that are like, nah, it doesn't do it, then just wait till later. Yeah. Later, because we have the new 3 a.m. challenges.
Yeah, I think
that are going out. What's the one where you put like a doll of rice in your bathtub?
Oh,
hide and seek at 3 a.m. or something.
Yeah, hide and seek alone or something.
A doll of rice?
You get a doll, you fill it with rice and like hair or nail clippings of yourself. You put it in the bathtub, you chant a thing, and then it chases you and you play
hide and seek with it.
Yeah.
So you do that, you leave it in the bathtub, and then I think you go away from it and then you lay down or rest for like a minute or 10 minutes, and then when you get back up, the doll is not in the bathtub anymore, and you have to find it, or I think you have to find it before sunrise or something, like that, or you get haunted or you die. I forget.
That's fucking stupid. It sounds like, you're like halfway there to cursing yourself.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You just ritually cursed yourself.
Are ritual games considered creepypastas? Like the elevator game where you're supposed to go to like floor 1, then floor 7, then floor 3?
I think so. They start off as stories.
It is a story, but if it has a formulation, it is a ritual.
Because let me tell you, the elevators at my work are completely made of glass, and they're the most horrifying things ever. And one of them doesn't have a grab bar, like in the back. I'm like, if any one of those is going to be haunted and take me to some demon realm, it's that one.
Or just crash and kill you regular style.
As long as you don't get off or speak to the guy on the thing or whatever the fucking rules are, you're good.
But I would have to have them like tattooed on my arm, because like every 5 seconds I would forget what I was doing and just be like,
Too many rules to this new shit.
Yeah, that's why they always give you a chance to fuck up. It's like, oh dang, you messed up and he's dead now.
It's like, it's your fault.
Oh, so let's bring up the next one. This is a bit of a double one here. It's called the spider bite. which is
okay.
I think this one actually goes back to the Scary Stories Tell in the Dark one.
Yeah.
It's where you can get bit by a spider while you're sleeping, and it could like lay its eggs in your face. Then you like, oh man, really itchy, and then like a bunch of spiders will come out of the wound.
Yeah.
And I guess the other one of this is that the average person eats like 20,000 spiders every night. Why y'all sandbagged me on that one, huh?
No, I had to think about it. There was a fucking spider on my face when I was sitting in my car on break. It was like a little white spider. Mm-hmm. So now I'm thinking like maybe I ate his family.
Yeah, that welt on your face has been growing.
It's like fuck.
I mean,
Just
extra protein.
Fucking giant white spider come out of my face.
It's just protein.
and then one of my favorites here, number three.
Wait. Number 3.
I fucking hate that guy.
Burger King foot lettuce.
Burger King foot lettuce. He makes some ridiculous yet somehow catchy music.
He makes some like some kind of weird like middlecore rap.
Yeah.
I remember one of the music videos he has like knockoff Lil Pump on it, which is really funny.
Really
I'll have to show that to you later. So number three, the Hook Man hand door car.
Oh, hand car door man.
This is one of the classic ones. Apparently, this is one of the Campfire Tales. So the idea is a young couple is in their car and they're driving out to like it's classic. It's like Makeout Point or something like
Lover's
that.
Lane.
Lover's Lane is a good one right there. Lover's Lane. While they're like, oh come on, Debbie, just give it up. Oh Johnny, I don't know. Debbie's such a prude. Come on. Oh, you're right. Let's get down. So that's happening, and the radio turns on, and it's like, warning, lunatic has hook-handed lunatic has escaped from mental institution and is on the loose, which is kind of weird that he would have, because this would imply normally that he already had a weaponized hand in the institution. They would have given him nothing, or a wooden hand or something like that.
Yeah.
So you have to imagine that he got his good hand out or something like that. So they're saying that the radio says that, and they're like still getting it on, and he's like, let me turn this off, and she's like, Johnny, that sounded important. It's whatever, that's down the road, it's not even close to us. or something like that. And then she starts to hear scratching at the car, like, and she's like, I don't know, maybe we should just go back. Let's go back home. It's like, what? Come on, she's getting good. And she's like, what, Johnny? I'm not in the mood anymore. Let's get out of here. And he turns the car on, he leaves, and there's like a and they get back home, and she gets out of the car, and on the car door handle, which a lot of cars don't even have this type of handle anymore, there's a hook on there. So it implied that the guy was just about to open. Well, he was trying to open the door, but he's fucking bad at it because he has a hook hand.
Yeah.
He lost his hook.
Yeah,
That's theft, actually.
Yeah, it's probably expensive.
So that's one of them. There is another one that isn't on this list that is similar in the sort of lovers in a car. The one where they go out to like the forest or whatever to make out, and I think they hear something out there, and she's like, go outside and check, and he's like, oh fuck, fine, because you do anything to get in there, to get in that box.
Yeah.
So he gets out, and he goes, he's checking it out, and he's gone for,
I just got it.
I know. He's out there checking it out, and she's stuck in there. I don't know if she gets a news report or not, but she's in there for a while. She's like, fuck, it's been a while now. And she hears like a thud on the car roof, like, doo, doo. She's like, whoa, fuck. What was that? And then it's just quiet again. Or maybe there's like a slight thud sound on top of the roof. And then I think she eventually gets so scared, and she's like, fuck this. And she takes the car and drives off. And what happened was that the boyfriend was on top of the car with a noose around his neck. So when she drove the car, it took away his space, and then he hung himself.
Oh.
I forget where I heard that one. Anyway, that's another good one. That's probably in some video somewhere.
Yeah.
Number 4. This is on theguardian.com, by the way. I'm looking this up.
Interesting.
Which is like a news organization for Christians. I don't remember.
I don't know.
This one is Freaky Food. And this is just the food fakes, this is how KFC's actually made. And they show the pink cream machine from Teletubbies or whatever. And this is a lot of, you don't know what's in your food. And I mean, to a degree, that is true.
Yeah.
You don't know what's in there too much, but it's usually just chemicals to preserve your food. It's less shocking the more you know about it, but there is still instances of someone biting into a hot dog or chicken nugget and finding a tooth or a nail. I think 2 years ago, somebody found a finger in her Wendy's, I think.
Oh, yeah, she did.
Yeah, she got a cool check out of that.
But there have also been people who have paid people for body parts to put in their food to get a lawsuit.
Wow.
Is also a thing.
That's a hustle right there, yeah. So yeah, that all happens. So that is still a thing that you can think of. There's a dog meat takeaway rumor, which you can eat dogs. You don't want to, but
you can request that.
you could request
But
that.
there's a
Perhaps a bat soup.
Oh.
what the
Actually,
Too soon?
we're staying off coronavirus. This is the no coronavirus talk.
Okay, so like a genuine fear of mine, and my mom instilled this in me when I was little, is like if you have a soda and you're outside, you want to cover the top of it, because if you don't, a bee is going to fly in there. And then if you start to drink it and there's a bee in there, you're either going to swallow the bee or it's going to sting you in the mouth. Does anybody else have this fear?
So it's not irrational. Bees are attracted to sweet things.
Yeah.
And on hot days, if you're at it, I remember some summers ago, I had a Coke open and the bees are like, oh, let me have a little piece of that. So yeah, that can happen, and they can get in there, and I've seen them get in there. But bees are known for buzzing. They make a loud noise when they're curious, and you can definitely hear them when they're in your can going
So like
bouncing around in there.
So like now I'm always paranoid, so if I leave like a can of something out, like I just I give it a little shake to see if I can hear like a little thunk on the side of the can.
You hear him land inside his liquid prison now. But yeah, that can happen. Here's a good one. I'm actually going to move this one to number 10 because this one's actually really good. I remember hearing this story, and I don't think anyone's done a video version of it. Next up, we have the kidney heist.
I know this one.
People all know this one? Actually, take it away.
Oh, you're like on vacation in Cancun or Miami.
Yeah,
or
Miami, Mexico.
Somewhere like tropical and fun. And you're. So there's two different versions that I know of. It's like a girl wants to hook up with a hot guy, or a hot guy wants to hook up with a hot girl, like some weird like shit like that.
Some shit like that.
They take you back to their hotel room. Things are getting nice, and then oh damn, I'm feeling a little sleepy, and then just thunk, you're passed out, gonzo. And then there's a couple other different versions from there. It's either one, you wake up in a bathtub full of ice with your kidneys missing and there's like nothing to help you, or you wake up in a bathtub full of ice with your kidneys missing and there's a note on the wall that's like,
go to the hospital.
I took your kidneys, go to the hospital, here's a cell phone, call 911, or like shit like that.
Yeah.
Which, like, if you're gonna steal my kidneys, I do appreciate that you will leave me some help.
To leave you some help, because as we know, organs go for quite a bit on the black market.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, I mean, I've been stockpiling on hearts for a while now. And, it'll come in handy. You'll see.
Yeah. You're just gonna shove all 10 of them in there,
Oh, yeah.
wire them up like a car battery.
No, I got some variation, too. I've got a baboon heart. I've got a pig heart.
Wait, okay, is this real or did I make this up? Did cows have 2 hearts? Or no, they have 2 stomachs.
They have 4 stomachs.
Time Lord has 2 hearts.
Probably. Yeah. I misremembered a Time Lord, a space creature who was fictional.
2 hearts.
Pretty cool.
Do cows? I don't think anything has 2 hearts. Except probably this is a Megalus Jiggulus, a rare octopus that has 2 hearts.
Megalus Jiggulus.
Yeah, so that's another British actor right there. So this one is a pretty quick one here. This one's called It's called Location. It's number 7 on the list.
Okay.
It is traditionally, oh yeah, you got this house cheap? Yeah, I got it cheap. Well, why didn't you tell me this was an Indian burial ground?
Oh, yeah.
It's the type of where you buried something, or location of an item is usually a sacred area or something like that, which reminds me of one of my favorite South Park gags, which was the pet store was built on a haunted burial ground, and the owner was like, I don't know what happened. I don't know why these ghosts are haunting us. I found the site. I found the Indian graves. I dug them up, and obviously I pissed on them, and I buried them upside down. I don't know what could happen. I don't know why they're haunting me right now. It's a really good gag. Look it up. But that's the type of thing too, where you could be on a place that is haunted ground or has bad energy. And there's a lot of places
You may
that,
not know, yeah.
it's typical hauntings like that. But rest assured, wherever you are, wherever you will go, someone has died. So don't worry about it.
So, fun case in point though.
The lady that's buried in this house.
Yeah, I'm gonna slap you with my foot. So, graveyards are like very like, oh yeah, we have certain plots where people are buried. Except for obviously, right? Except for there can sometimes be spaces with no headstones that you can't tell someone is buried there.
Mm-hmm.
Which is pretty much like everywhere because headstones are expensive.
Yeah,
So-
traditionally just actually very expensive.
Yeah, so like sometimes what they'll do is, oh, here's someone's grave, here's like a temporary headstone, and it'll be like maybe a metal sign
Or
that was just made real fast.
yeah, one of the Halloween ones that are made of styrofoam.
Yeah, something like real fast.
Say I'll be back. Get that for mine, actually.
Okay, I will.
Holy shit.
Shoot me into the sun so I just don't have to deal with that in the afterlife. But no, so like it's very, very subtle sometimes. You can tell if you're like walking through a graveyard at a place, you're like, oh, this is clearly a path. If you feel the ground changing fairly consistently, bro, you're walking over dead bodies. Like, they just don't have headstones.
I mean, wouldn't they have to? They at least put in boxes all the time, right?
Yeah.
Not
Some
always.
kind of marker.
Not always.
I mean, probably older graves know they've lost it, but
Yeah.
they have to have some kind of marker to keep,
So there's
Some kind of cairn.
yeah.
like when you're heading down to Main Street over in not this city but the one over there,
Oh yeah.
City 2.
that graveyard that you pass.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they have a ton of unmarked graves.
Oh.
And they're not like super old. They're maybe like a year or two. But they have like a ton that just don't have, they might have like a tiny little sign, but the family brings those. It's not like,
Oh wow. So it's just fucking burying fuckers without any indication.
like they'll provide a temporary sign for a little bit, but if you can't afford a gravestone or whatever, you either have to like bring your own sign. And it like might just be that it's a small town graveyard. It's not like run by a funeral home kind of thing. But I mean, my friend Glenn, his family owns like a farm, and there's a graveyard attached to that. Same kind of deal, probably because it's family owned, but like there's maybe like 10 headstones in something that's about 3 acres wide.
I'm sure that they at least put them in some kind of box.
Oh yeah, they do. I'm not saying they just throw them in the dirt, but like they don't
Cheaper.
leave a marker because I mean, what your basic headstone is like 2,000.
It's a lot of money for
A
for what it
stone.
is. Yeah, for a stone.
You know, when you die, I'm just gonna make yours.
Backyard barbecue when I go.
Yeah, well, we'll all have a taste.
Oh my god. I want someone
Sweet
to spring
Kenny
load. I want someone to spring load my coffin. So like when the second to last person comes up, it just pew, and I just like sit up.
Shit.
It's so funny.
That reminds me. I'll do a quick story. The story about the knife in the ground. You know that one, right?
Oh yeah, I didn't.
You know this one, Kenny? There's it's I don't think it's an urban legend. I think it is an urban legend, or it's just a story that you tell. It's like a bunch of kids, and they're all hanging out by the cemetery, and I think one of them is like, "Ooh, I want to go over there." Yeah, you're right, Brett. Let's not go over there. And then one of the girls is like, "I'm not scared at all." He's like, yeah, right. You don't need to put on these airs. You are scared. I'm not scared. Well, if you're not scared, then go down over there and then sit on one of the graves for like 5 minutes. And the other girl's like, no, don't do that. She's like, fine, I will. And he's like, all right, fine, here. And he gives her his like pocket knife. And he goes, to prove you did it, stab this knife into the plot where you are. So she goes out there. She's like, fine, I'll do it. So they're hanging out. She's like the third wheel, so might as well. She goes out there and it's like midnight or something like that. And then she picks one. I think they may have specified which one, probably, Colonel Mustard's grave or whatever.
Yeah.
And she goes to sit on it. And she's like, fine, I'm not scared. This is easy. And I think she only used to stay there for, I think it was like an hour originally, which is forever.
That's a long
time. Yeah, but I'm going to go with 5 minutes because it's a bit easier.
Yeah.
So she's sitting there and she's like, it's not too bad. And then, the wind picks up and ambient noise is rattling, the grass is glowing, and she's like looking around. There's no protection. You're out in a graveyard. So she starts to get a little scared. And I think she puts the knife down at some point. I think she does it immediately when she sits down. So she's standing there and she's like, fine, I'm out of here. And she starts getting more and more freaked out. So then she gets up. She's like, fuck this, I'm out of here. She starts to get up and she can't. She's caught. She's like, oh, fuck, the grave, a hand came out of the grave and grabbed me. I can't get out. And she keeps trying to get out. And, we cut over back to our original couple and they're like, oh, she's been gone for a minute now. And then I think security or police officer comes by and it's like, hey, y'all can't park by the graveyard.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, we told our friend to go out there. He's like, you have a friend out there? All right, well, we'll get them too. So they go to the cemetery and they go find the spot and they find her and she's laying down. And then they go to say, hey, Janine or whatever, get up, and she's dead. And they're like, what happened? You're like, what'd you do to her? And like, no, she was out here on her own. And then you see that when she sat down, she stabbed the knife into a part of her dress. So when she got up, the knife had her clothes pinned down, so she couldn't get up. She started freaking out, and she, scared herself to death. And that's one of the like cemetery stories there. That like, ooh, be careful. You always gotta hold your breath when you go by a cemetery or something like that, or by certain other areas. But anyway, cemeteries have that type of thing. I guess that is part of the location here, like areas that have an innate fear to it. But I mean, there are bodies in there, so either way, it's pretty gross.
I mean, it's a natural process. Like things die and decompose.
Yeah,
it happens.
But I mean, there's that. There's a sense to it. Something is still here, but not alive. Number 8 is chain letters.
Oh my god, I remember those.
So these are. Could someone give an example of a chain letter?
I don't know. I've never experienced any spooky. If you don't send this, somebody's gonna come fucking like viciously murder you. It's always, your mom's gonna lose her cat or some shit. Like
lose her teeth.
Really tame.
Yeah. Send this letter to 10 other people, or you'll be cursed. And then it goes down to send this within 30 seconds, or you'll be cursed. I think it was like text messages at a certain time when cell phones were more relevant or new.
See, I never got a text message one, but I always got the fucking Yahoo message.
The emails,
ones, the emails, the Facebook messages.
Oh yeah, Facebook messages.
MySpace.
Oh, MySpace was a good area for that. MySpace is dead, yes.
Yeah.
I thought it turned into Facebook.
Oh, they tried to make it exclusive only to like celebrities, and then you had to be invited to go back to MySpace, and then that failed for obvious reasons.
Yeah, like why?
The same reason why when Pinterest used to be invite only, they weren't doing great, because what the fuck, you're a website.
So yeah, chain letters will always have that type of thing. Send this out to 10 other people, or you'll be cursed in some way.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of like a lazier version, but a forced version of the Bloody Mary type of thing.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
See that.
You have a task you need to complete, or that you could complete, or you'll be cursed or attacked or something like that.
It's kind of funny that like the chain letter stuff has kind of lived on in Tumblr. Like I see those all the time, like reblog this in 5 seconds or you'll never have money again, and like shit like that.
Oh yeah.
And then people will make like, this is safety Doge, after you see safety doge, no chain reblogs can ever affect you again.
That did happen a while, and now we just have, emails asking for money. And that's the new chain mail. Some guy in India or Uganda trying to make a couple bucks.
I like fucking with those telemarketers and like putting on like a really gory like NCIS or something with a lot of screams, and I just like leave the phone.
You know what's like that? The Ring, the concept of the tape.
Oh, it comes with a tape.
Yeah.
But the tape succeeds every time.
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, in the movie, obviously, it does it? Fuck.
Yeah, it has.
Chick survived everything, though. Like 16 movies.
I just realized It Follows is just a retelling of The Ring.
Well, It Follows is an allegory for STDs, I think.
Well, yeah, but it's like you gotta keep passing it on or it'll kill you.
Well, with the Ring, you couldn't dodge it, right? There wasn't like you make somebody else watch it. And
No. When you watch it, you're just done.
you're done.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of like the second or like the third one that like fucked everything up all stupid and weird.
Yeah. It's just that you just watch it and then.
Yeah, because I think in the second one it's like she burns it into a DVD and like Samara is like tell them my story and I'll let you live or like some weird bullshit.
Yeah, you have to make a story out of that because it doesn't make that much sense for what it is. And then we have, it's a good one. The calls coming from inside the house.
Back when landlines were.
This is back when landlines. The landlines make movies a lot scarier. Bring them back. Throw away your cell phone. Give it to me. Send it to me. My address is.
I mean, like I literally think we should have a landline with how often I lose my cell phone.
Oh yeah. So this one, if you don't know, is a babysitter has to babysit a kid, and the parents are like, we're going to the movies or a hotel to fuck, whatever.
Yeah, one of those.
And they're like, hey, our number's on the fridge right here. And they're like, oh, you got it, Mrs. Madsen. I'll take care of little Bobby Burner, as usual. So she immediately, when the parents leave, she puts on her rock and roll track. She gets the corded phone, takes it to the couch, and she's like, "Oh my God, Jessica, did you see Brett's balls today? They were popping." So she's doing that. The kid usually plays no real relevance to the story immediately. He's asleep. Not at first, but then she gets a call from the landline, and it's like. It's like, breathing, which is still good. It's still a good gimmick. I like to do that with telemarketers.
Yeah.
Because they can't really hang up, or they can't talk to you if you don't talk first.
Yeah.
But it really gets them when they know someone's on the other line but not saying anything, so they're forced to hang up, which is bad for their stats. Anyway, so she gets, I think, 3 calls, and finally she's freaked out, so she goes up there to get Bobby, or whatever. Yeah. Bobby Hill. Okay, Dade. She gets some Bobby down to the thing, and then finally she calls the police, and she's like, I keep getting calls, and then they're like, we traced back the call. It's coming from inside the house, and she's like, and then at this point you hear footsteps from. It's always this 2-story house. Yeah. You hear footsteps coming down the stairs, and when it gets down, the police get there in time. The guy was all inside the house already. Slight tangent for this. This did happen. There's a real story of this happening, but it's a little different and a little bit funnier. So same situation. The babysitter is babysitting a baby boy, or is it not a baby boy, but like a 5-year-old boy or girl? I forget what. And she's up. The kid comes down. She's like, I'm having a lot of fun with my clown friend. And the girl's like, oh yeah, okay, sure. And she goes up there, or no, goes back. The kid comes back down again after going back up. He's like, oh, my little clown friend is up there. I'm getting food for him. And she's like, hey, what? And then so finally she's like, all right, let me go see who this clown friend is. And she goes up the stairs to the girl's room, and there is a clown in there. It is I believe it's a little person. Little person. It is a little person. I forget how it goes exactly, but it was a circus performer that I think was lost or something and wanted to use the phone, and the little girl answered the door first and let him in. and she led him upstairs, and the little girl or little boy locked the clown in the closet. So he was actually the victim of this, but
being kidnapped by like a 5-year-old.
but like good patience on that clown. So that is a good one. And now there's a 10th one. The 10th one is Slender Man. Yada yada yada. You know Slender
It
Man.
doesn't count as an urban legend. It literally.
But it is developed enough, and people these days don't really do any research for it. I wonder if there's a Snopes for Slender Man.
I'm not a fan of that list. I don't know. I didn't feel like it was specific
Did you read the?
It was more.
I didn't.
Like
I have one more.
a wide group of.
Yeah.
Basic sort of urban legends there.
I thought we
Like-
were gonna get the classic. I go back to my room and my roommate's like fucking. He's having sex with a chick, but it's dark, so I just see the movement and I see the shit, and then I wake up in the morning and it's like, thanks for not cutting on the lights or some shit like that. The classic shit. But no, this was more.
Well, where does that one?
Tropes.
Where does that one go? Well, I mean, this is where the tropes come from.
Yeah. That one.
That was just last night.
Yeah, no, that. Where did I got all this shit from the movie Urban Legends.
Oh, which
The
goes through
classic.
a lot of which is a
it
decent
goes-
movie.
And for some reason, as you're like saying these, I'm seeing it. Like I've seen all this shit on a show. Like I see the dramatization.
There must have been a
and I
couple
think
for all
the
this.
show with
Yeah.
all the songs. I just cannot place it.
I'll try to avoid some of the other ones like alligators in the sewer. Which was a real thing for at least one incident, but these are the type of urban legends. There's a bunch more that are a lot of fun too, but this is like the big ones.
Is quicksand in there? It should be.
Quicksand?
I was always scared of quicksand.
Quicksand is one of the biggest fears for any 10 or 12-year-old.
Yeah.
That doesn't know. Yeah, back then, us 90s kids,
Quicksand was in everything.
the things you're afraid of, quicksand and the killer bee scare of the 90s, where killer bees had come over from Africa.
Yeah.
I forget how, and it was a real thing for like a county or something like that.
Yeah.
But that was a big scare. This is a good one. I must have read this in a book because I have perfect memory of this one. Should I give the title of it? Might give it away.
I mean, you gotta give something away. We don't know what the hell you're talking about.
I was just going to go into it. Okay, I'll go into this one. The Licked Hand.
Oh, humans can lick too.
Humans can lick too.
Yeah, I was literally thinking about that one the whole time.
So this is a good
I
one.
remember this one.
This one is the popular tale. I'm going to take this verbatim. It's a scared girl, or sometimes old woman. I think it's usually just a scared girl. She's in her room and she hears this ominous dripping sound kind of from inside her house. But she has her faithful dog next to her bed that licks her hand to let them know that the dog is in the room. So she's got protection. She has the dog, right? Eventually, she's like, all right, what the fuck? Yeah, you get it now. I can feel it.
No,
She's like, all right, what is this fucking dripping noise? So she gets up and checks her house, and only to find her dog has been slaughtered and a message written in blood that says humans can lick too.
Yeah.
Which means this is a sort of someone in the house type of story.
Yeah.
This is a good one. If you can find a short for this on YouTube, check it out.
That's good.
If you can find the real story for this, from an M.R. James story called The Diary of Mr. Pointier, in which a character experiences a similar fate, you should look that up. That's a good one. And this leads into the person in the house sort of trope or thing. I think there was a video a couple of years ago where a guy was in his house and he was missing food and stuff and water, and he was like, what the fuck? Why am I losing this stuff? So he sets up a camera in his house, and he goes to sleep, and at night he puts the camera on night vision, and right from the ceiling hatch, like a fan, a lady just slowly comes out of the ceiling, puts her feet down on the couch on the table, gets down. She goes over there and she just like starts rummaging through the pantry, gets some food. I think she even watches TV for a little bit.
Yeah, she pees in the sink.
She pees in the sink, yeah, and then she like goes back up into the attic, and that's you've got some person in the walls living in the walls.
There's another, I don't know if it was a real story that happened, but it's a variation on There's a Person in the House. It's like a girl alone in her apartment who notices like her underwear and stuff is going missing, so she sets up security footage and then watches it and watches a guy come in her home, and then she's like, oh my god, that's terrifying. She calls the police and everything, and then she lays down because she's like scared, and then it like clicks like, oh, I never saw him leave.
He's under the bed.
And he's under the bed with like a knife or like something, which like
That's crazy. You go
sucks.
from panty sniffing to murder.
Yeah, I saw another one that was sort of similar, and it is a lady her stuff was missing or something was up, so she puts her home footage camera was changed, and it had footage from inside her house. And she was like, what the fuck? She's going through her footage, and one of the videos is her room or part of her room or part of her house. So someone took her camera, went inside the house, and turned it on in there. And it went on for a while. I think there's footage of this, but I don't know if it was like a real thing or not. Because, it's one of those like Reddit things where you have it for a while, and you see that type of thing. But person in the walls, person in the houses is a good one. There's another good one that's a little bit harder to tell. I think someone is like snowing outside and they're sitting on their couch and they've got a big window and they're looking outside and they fall asleep and they're by themselves and they're looking out their window and they can barely see someone outside their yard, right? Or it looks like that. And they're like, oh, some kind of weirdo's out there, but they're like, whatever, I'm inside. And I think the person gets up and they realize that there wasn't anyone outside. It was a reflection from inside of the house that was on the window, that there was someone in there. That's another good one. These are where all these come from, and I'm sure creepypasta is, to get back on that for a bit, is where these originate from. People want to tell these stories, but it's harder to tell stories now because we've become so connected with our phones. We have camera footage.
It's really easy to tell if something is real or fake, but that does make the like real scary shit even scarier.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like I don't need a creepypasta to be afraid of like someone breaking into my house when I see all these like Ring doorbell footage of someone busting through a window with a fucking firearm and stuff.
Or the someone knocking on your door and to let you in, and a bunch more people come out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of this on the let's not meet.
Let's not meet. Oh, I love that subreddit.
The one where like a guy is dropping off his friend, or he's going to his friend's house at night, and there's like a stoplight. He stops at it, and the lady comes out from one of the alleys, and she's like, "You gotta help me. You gotta let me in." Yeah. And he's like looking at the red lights. He doesn't want to run it, although there's no one there. And he's like, "Lady, I don't know if I can help you." And she's like banging on it, and she's like, "Let me in, panicking. And then finally, he takes that flight or fight response, and he takes off, and he runs that red light, but in his rearview mirror, you can see that a bunch of men come out of the other side of the alley, and they're like, gee willikers, we missed him. It didn't work. So, it is these gimmicks. I think it's a lot of like, was it Ted Bundy that was like that, or one of those people that were acted really nice, or he came in with like a limped leg and he's like, I need help. Someone help take me to a car, and then you would go with the person and they would not be hurt at all.
There would just be bait.
Just bait. So now that we've gone through that, let's do some real life occurrences, some spooky events, and I'll try to make it worth your while, dear listener. So Kenny, what is you must have had some either scary encounter or supernatural encounter that you can remember. I think everyone has one that you can remember.
I'm thinking, and God, I really wish I had a supernatural encounter. I'm waiting on the day. Like, I pray for it. I don't know who I'm praying to, but I need the proof.
Yeah.
Like, I believe in it, but maybe not enough, I guess, so they won't show themselves to me. I don't know. I haven't experienced anything that really just fucking freaked me out or spooked me out or anything. More so just real life shit. That's the craziest shit of them all. I'll keep thinking on it and come back to it. Memory is shit. Real shit.
That's a mood, though.
Do you have one?
I have like a million.
Well,
I have one that I don't think I told you.
Pick your favorite one.
So, speaking of like people being in the house, when I was like 5 or something, we used to live in this house. It's called a duplex. So there's a house on one side, a garage, and then a house on the other. So it's like a sandwich of houses connected by a roof. Really small place. And I remember we were going to bed, me and my sister, and I don't know what time it was because again, I'm like 5 years old. And it's me, my sister, 2 of my brothers, and my parents in the house.
Right.
So I remember going to sleep, and I remember like I just opened my eyes and I see like a figure standing in the hallway, almost as if like if you were to put on one of those body morph suits, like shapeless figure of just darkness. Like, you know how when it's dark in a room but you can still kind of make out a little bit of light, and it was just like a shadow almost. But I'm sitting here in my 5-year-old wisdom thinking that's one of my brothers. So I follow it and it goes into my parents' bedroom. So I jump in between my parents and I'm like, hey, Mark and or Richie are in here. Like, they're up. I want to be up. Why did they get to be awake and not me? Because again, 5. And then my parents just like were like, oh, she must have had a nightmare, blah, blah, blah. Let's go to sleep. But like legit, when I went to follow them, like they took off running. So I'm like, either shadow person who was trying to lure me into my parents' room for some reason, or actually one of my brothers who somehow did not get caught going into my parents' bedroom, which, mind you, their bedroom was probably like the size of the end of that table to the wall. It's like literally like maybe 10 by, what would you call that, 10 by 12 feet? Very small. Small enough to literally fit one queen-size bed.
Okay.
With like barely any room on either side. So it's like somehow my brother got in there and hid somewhere, question mark,
under the bed.
shadow person, or someone broke into the house and maybe dove out the window, like don't know. But yeah, that has always stuck with me, among many other things, because I guess your girl is just haunted.
I mean, it could happen.
Yeah. At my mom's house, a bullet casing fell from the ceiling once.
Another Twitch streamer cleaning their gun.
Yeah. And I just like just fell on the floor, and we were just like, oh, that's weird. Never spoke about it again.
That is weird. Someone must have known. Like, oh shit.
Don't know.
Yeah. And this was at the place you lived at before, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The blue house.
Yeah. So that is a small room. I remember seeing that.
Well, no. So the bullet casing happened there. The house before where the shadow person happened was even smaller.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And it can't have been really a dream if you really got up.
I don't know. I do not know. I also like 1,000 weird shit happens to me. I don't know why. But also at that blue house, I was like trying to go to sleep. I had just put my Pokemon game away, and I was like, all right, it's time for sleep. And I remember waking up because I hit my head on the bottom of the top bunk, which sounds weird, but under the bed, except under the bed is the top bunk.
So it was a bunk.
It was a
bed.
bunk, yeah. I'm tired, listen. But I'm like, I woke up because I hit my head on it. So either I sat up really fast, and mind you, I'm like 11 at this point, so either I sat up really, really fast and like smacked my head on it in my sleep, or, and I still stand by this,
Okay.
aliens or astral projecting. Don't know which.
Astral projecting seems more.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah, just my soul just hits this like red bunk bed, and I'm just like, oh, fuck.
Let's see. Oh, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. Shadow Man is a good one.
Yeah.
Shadow Man is its own
Yeah.
hypothesis, urban legend, or creepypasta thing, or cryptid type of thing.
I mean, I'm not above thinking that fourth dimensional beings exist and occasionally can slip into our dimension or pocket dimension shit. Like, who knows? I don't. I just have the memories.
Scars that linger.
I mean,
I've had one. And this was back when I must have been, like 10, 9 or 10. And we lived in in Japan or Okinawa. We lived in an apartment building that was like 9 stories high. We lived on the 9th floor, because of course. I remember, besides the story, I remember our neighbor, like a teenager, was like, I got locked out of my apartment. Can I use your roof to get to mine? And I was like, you sure you don't want to just call someone or just wait a little bit? And then I remember I just let him in, and he got on top of the roof on the banister, 9 stories up, and he made it across. And I was like, don't know if I would have done that. I don't know, because we're up high, like a sudden, and we're by the ocean too, so like a strong gust of wind, hands too greasy or whatever, and you would have went for a long fall.
Oh shit.
Anyway, I remember one night, and I think my bedroom was not adjacent to my parents' room, but you had to go through, because my bedroom was on the right, and then the only exit I had was to the hallway, which led to the kitchen, and then on the other side was directly across door to door was my parents' room. And I remember one night I was sleeping, and I always slept with the door open. I don't sleep with the door open anymore, probably because of this.
yeah.
And I remember just waking up, and it must have been like 12 or 1 or something like that, because it was pretty late. Everyone was asleep for a while now, and I remember just waking up. You just wake up sometimes. Some bodily function is activating, but you wake up, and I remember waking up, and I'm really groggy, and I see my mom in the hallway, and she doesn't say anything to me. She's in the hallway, and she kind of beckons me over. She hunches down a little bit and does a sort of come here motion, where you put your hand out, like coming back to you, like, come here. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm trying to sleep. So I get out of bed, and I look away from the door during this. So I look away from the door, and I get out of bed, and obviously she's not in the hallway anymore. I think nothing of this, because it's late, you got kid brain, tired brain. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. So I go across the hallway, and I don't look to my left, and I always think about what I could have seen if I looked into the dark hallway. I never did, though. I was focused. I get out of my bed, walk across the hallway, and I walk over to my parents' room and where their bed is, and my parents are both sleeping. It still hasn't hit me yet. So I go over there, I go to my mom's side, and I gently shake her awake. I'm like, I push on her a little bit, and she's clearly groggy. She's out cold, and I'm like, what did you need? Why did you call me over? And she's like, what are you talking about? I'm just like, didn't you call me over? And she goes, I didn't. Go back to sleep. So I'm like, okay. I turn around, I start walking back to my bed, and that's when I get hit by this overwhelming sense of dread. My entire body goes cold, my eyes widen up, and I'm like, who I walk stiltedly back to my room. I close the door. I get into bed. You can't look under my bed. I had drawers underneath, so I had that safety measure put in place. I get in there, and I cover myself with the blanket like you do. You have advanced protection when you do that. And I just go to sleep, and no one talks about it. No one mentions it, and it seems like it was only me that had that issue. There was no next morning where my mom was like, that was weird that you got up during the night or whatever. No one says anything about it, and I remember it so vividly, like it wasn't a dream, because I did get up, I did go through the motions of doing everything to do it, and I went back to sleep, and that was my big scary moment where I can't explain that. I don't know what would explain it, because it wasn't like a random person. It was my mom in the exact nightgown that she had, white with some roses on her. I remember that. And, I'm like, could it be a doppelganger myth? I don't know how that works, but I'm just like, wow, that was the one time.
That's fucking weird.
And I remember overthinking it, because it's the only supernatural moment I've ever had in my life. I remember overthinking it. Like, if I had looked down that hallway, instead of going straight to my parents' room, if I looked down that hallway, would the doppelganger mom be down the hallway and be like, hey, yeah, down this way, come this way. And down that hallway is our living room, and it's connected to our living room because it's a small apartment, was
The balcony.
our balcony. And I'm just like, what if, obviously I didn't look down the hallway, so I don't know, but what if I went down that hallway? What if she was there again and then she moved? And what if she was outside and I followed her to the balcony? Like, because in that moment, I instinctively just listened to my mom.
Yeah.
I got up and I went and did it. I would have done the same thing. I'd be like, why are we going to the balcony? Why are we going outside? So, ghost, monster, demon, I dodged you, bitch. You didn't get me this time. You didn't get me. So, yeah, no more supernatural occurrences after that. And I think that really winds down our podcast there. We've talked about creepypastas. We went back to the past for urban legends, and then we had our own sort of misadventure.
Spooky shit doesn't always have to be paranormal. It doesn't always have to be, in the moment, terrifying.
Yeah. It can always just be a weird thing that you don't see, and sometimes it's easily explained.
Yeah.
I remember playing a game and being like, fucking a shadow raced by me? What the fuck? A shadow racing through the hallway? And then, you're more aware of it and you put the game down or whatever, and I'm like, oh shit, the cars that are driving outside are reflecting off my window, causing the shadow to move by.
Yeah.
All that stuff. But you know what? If you have your own spooky stories, feel free to put them into the comments and we'll go over them for this video. These are going up on YouTube right now currently, until we can figure out how to host this onto other websites. Next week, we're going to come back. We're going to finish off our Are You Afraid of the Dark 2-parter. And yeah, we're aware. If we haven't said this before, we are aware that the order for the Are You Afraid of the Dark episodes that we were watching are incorrect.
Amazon's fault.
That's not us. That's not on us. That's Amazon's fault, and we've already jumped in. So we're going by the Amazon Criterion release order.
Yeah, they have them as like a collection instead of how the series actually is.
They have them by volume 1, and I have no idea what or why they're put into this order.
So you can buy it all.
Yeah, so you have to buy all of it. They do that with a lot of the shows that you have to purchase. They don't put them in seasons, they put them in volumes.
Yeah, it's just really obnoxious because I don't know if you did collect all the Infinity episodes, I don't know if you can watch them in their direct order. You would still have to put them in order. So we're doing them by that. But yeah, we'll have a 2-parter next time to make up for it. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Campfire Cast. Hopefully this has got you through your quarantine. We're not talking about Corona, or just, if you're infected.
Yeah.
It's something.
Itchy, tasty, if you have that.
The Z virus.
The Z virus, or the T virus, the G virus, and then the C virus, which comes from China in Resident Evil 6 and has a C in it. So,
That's actually hilarious.
is it racist?
I mean, with that Resident Evil 5 though.
Okay. It's a good thing we're getting these remakes in. Thank you for joining us. This has been the Campfire Cast. This is your boy. Shit, I locked myself into Skinny Penis. This is Skinny Penis signing out, and then everyone else can sign out.
All right, bye, you guys.
All right, this is Kenny. No kind of supernatural experience whatsoever. See you later.
Yeah.
I'm saddened by that.
Don't worry, Kenny.
We'll haunt you.
I want somebody to haunt me.
I'll hire someone to kidnap you.
Thank you. I'd appreciate it.
I just need you to sign this release form here. We're gonna do a little thing called The Game. If you haven't seen The Game, look it up. It's a movie. David Fincher's The Game. Look it up.